Hey, Matt here. The weekend in May, and an overcast weekend here, where I'm going to do another video. This time it's going to be a companion piece to my Stevie Wonder video of a few months ago. It's on Marvin Gaye from 1970 to 1982, exact years I did with Stevie Wonder. Now, I couldn't find the Here My Dear album. I love the record. In the old days, that would have made me upset. I would have delayed the video until I found it, but I'm not doing that anymore. You know, I'm just going to show you what it looks like on my computer, and I'll show you the rest of the CDs. So I took some notes. I've been hard on myself lately because I'm leaving some things out. I'm getting some facts wrong, so I went over the albums again, looked them up on Wikipedia, and I wrote down some notes, things I wanted to emphasize. So anyways, let's begin. Now, much like Stevie Wonder, Marvin had a very successful, career in the 60s, released a grip of albums, lots of classic 45s, but no classic LPs, though, I'm going to say, just exactly like Stevie. So we're going to pick up in 1970 with That's the Way Love Is, Show Enough How It Is. Now, this is a pretty good album. It's not on the level of his best. This is another one of those Japanese SHM CDs, but it's good. What I wrote down. Okay, so this came out in 1970, but the title track, That's the Way Love Is, it's weird. That is from Marvin's previous album in '69, MPG, which is his initials. I forget what his middle name is, but it starts with a P. They just, Motown, as is their wont, or was their wont, just took that song, because there was 3 hits, I think, off of that album, I don't remember, and just made it the basis of his 1970 album, even though it had already been on a previous record. But there are other good songs, too. How Can I Forget? Gonna Give Her All the Love I've Got were both hits. They didn't make the top 40, but they did well on the soul charts. His version of Abraham, Martin, and John made UK top 10, number 9, I believe. The Dion classic. So it's a solid record, much like Signed, Sealed, and Delivered was for Stevie Wonder in 1970. So there you go. That's the way love is. Good album, but the last good one he would make until he became classic. Oh, before I get to what's going on, I found this old CD too. I found this, but I didn't find Here My Dear. This is a bunch of his classic hits he had with other women: Diana Ross, Mary Wells, Kim Weston, and Tammy Terrell. Tammy Terrell was his major partner, and he made an album. She died about that time, and he had a greatest hits album that came out, I think, about this time, 1970. By the way, I'm not doing the live albums on this show. 2 live albums in the 70s, and I'm not going to do the album he made with Diana Ross. One, I don't have those records. He didn't write anything either with that, with the one he did with Diana. And I'm really, right now, for this show, much like my Stevie show, I want to focus on Marvin the writer. Okay? So, anyways, but this is all the hits he had with his female duet partners. Okay, well, what is there to say about what's going on? I mean, I've had this album in multiple formats. One of my favorites was in the 80s. I had What's Going On and Let's Get It On the same CD, So when I used to make out with my girlfriend, we would put that CD on and, as background music. But this is an all-time classic. It's one of the truly great albums ever. Certainly one of the great masterpieces of 1971. It's, people forget that this is supposed to be like a concept album of like a returning Vietnam veteran, I think, and what he is seeing in America, with the poverty and the screwing up of the ecology and whatnot. Of course, What's Going On is a major album. It's a major song, too. That's one of his classic songs, as is, Mercy, Mercy Me and Inner City Blues, but the whole thing is a seamless. It's one of those perfect albums. I mentioned In Revisions being a perfect album when I did the Wonder video. So is this, you know. As you can see, I do compare Stevie to Marvin a lot. That thing about the Vietnam vet thing, he was in a biker movie this same year. I mean, if you watch my Steppenwolf show, you know that I'm a major counterculture hippie film type buff, but also a biker movie guy. His biker movie, he was in a biker movie, yes, although he didn't have a lot of lines. William Smith film, if you know who he is. It's called Chrome and Hot Leather, I think. Anyways, I think it's been a few years since I've seen it. I should have pulled out the DVD for you. But was he a vet in that movie? He may have been. I don't think he was a biker. Anyways, did that give me idea for this? Anyways, Hot Chrome or Chrome and Hot Leather, that's what it's called. It's on DVD, probably not Blu-ray. Anyways, one of the great albums ever. I'm sure that you have it. If anything, it was instantly acclaimed, but if anything, it's even more praised since his death. And now it's considered, one of the great albums of all time. I think Rolling Stone named this the greatest album of all time once. Also Dave Marsh in his book, The 1001 Greatest Rock and Soul Singles, named his version of I Heard of the Grapevine is the greatest song of all time. So Marvin does have some accolades, doesn't he? Anyways, this is a double disc. You get some live stuff on side 2. In whatever format you get this. This is a must own, for any collection. Okay, in 1972, he did a soundtrack to a blaxploitation film, which I'm embarrassed to say I've never seen, but I've always enjoyed the album. It's called Trouble Man. That's a classic Marvin Gaye song, the title track. But people love this record. Some people do. Most people hear it and they think, well, that's just pretty good. Not on the level of whatever Superfly or whatever, but still pretty good. I'm in between. No, I don't put it on the same level as that Curtis Mayfield album or what Isaac Hayes could do with Shaft, but it's a damn good blaxploitation soundtrack album. I like virtually everything on here. It's sandwiched between two all-time classics, What's Going On and Let's Get It On, so perhaps that makes people tend to not view it as a great record, but it is definitely going to get you where you want to go. And I'm sure if you check if you don't own it, check it out online, play it, and I think it's damn good. Trouble Man. All right, no bonus tracks. That Mr. T is the character that he's writing about. Again, never seen the movie. I probably should just try to stream it online just to say that I've seen it. Okay, so we move to 1973. Well, Let's Get It On. Virtually the equal of I think the only reason why What's Going On is considered to be the better album is because it's got all these topical themes. It's like a protest record. It's like a Bob Dylan album or something. This is all about sex. He's having problems with his marriage to Anna Gordy, Berry Gordy's sister. He's discovered Janice Hunter, who was 17 at the time, whom he would later marry and then divorce, and that's he would dedicate the next one, I Want You, to her. But I think that she was the inspiration for a lot of these sex songs. I don't think it was Anna. But he's also, the thing about Marvin, this is years before Prince made this connection. He's equating sex with God. Not overtly, you're gonna struggle to find that in the lyrics. But if you ever read, oh God, what's his author? It came out in '85, Divided Souls. David something wrote about him. He makes that connection, and I can hear it now. This is another classic album. This is a double. You get demos and stuff on the second disc, but this is a 5-star classic the same way What's Going On is. This came out the same year as In Revisions. At this point, I think Marvin was the highest paid because he had renegotiated his contract with Motown just like Stevie Wonder, but What's Going On was a phenomenon in a way in '71 that even Talking Book wasn't in '72. So this is another classic. See if I got any notes on here that I didn't mention. Well, you know, funk, sex, Come Get to This, and You Should Love the Ball are also great. Another thing about his relationship with sex, now that I'm thinking about it, is as you recall, his father, same one who shot him in the 80s, was a preacher, and he would beat Marvin when he was young. And so Marvin had a very confused relationship with, you know, sex, with thinking about sex and thinking it was bad and God didn't want you to do that, all coming from his father, of course. So I think he's working a lot of that out on this album. All right. So there you go. Let's Going On. Let's Going On? Let's Get It On. You own it, or you wouldn't be watching this video, I'm sure. Okay, in, let's see. What are you doing? There's a live album in '74, right? Did I write that down? Nope, I did not. But he did do that album with Diana Ross in '73. This is the deluxe edition of I Want You. I'm gonna say this is his most underrated album. It's another kind of a sex album, you know, in much the same way that Let's Get It On is, just not quite as good. If that's a classic, this is damn good, you know. But you know, by now he's fully infatuated with Janice Hunter. I don't remember when he married her. I want to say '77, but I could be wrong about that. It's another. Oh, hold on, I took some notes on this, I think. You know, the Quiet Storm genre of R&B. This is like a total forerunner of that kind of mature R&B for, like, you know, older African-American listeners. Where does that start from? That's from a Smokey Robinson album, right? A Quiet Storm, '75. This is '76. So those would be that Smokey album, and this Marvin Gaye album would be, you know, proto Quiet Storm. But it's real good. Lots of synthesizers, lots of, you know, multi-tracked vocals. I love Out to the Dance, and you know, but the whole thing is good. It's a better album, of course, than Trouble Man, and I love Trouble Man. So there you go. Okay, there was a live album in '77. I know that because you know, it's got to Give It Up on there, which is one of his all-time classics. Don't have it, but you got to have that song, which I do. He comes back in. Well, now will be the chance to show you what Here My Dear looks like. This is his divorce album, Here My Dear, from Anna Gordy. It's a double LP. It didn't do a lot of business when it came out. I've always enjoyed it. It's so bizarre. It's a total divorce album. You thought that, you know, like Dylan's Blood on the Tracks was a divorce album. This just blatantly names names. There's like Anna's song. There's a great one called, you know, You Can Leave, but it's going to cost you. It's stuff like that. It's stuff that, like, you think you're embarrassed to be listening to be privy to, that he would put himself out there like that, but he does. It's kind of like disco and funk, but it's kind of like the songs are all like at the same tempo. It's almost like it's the same cut, you know, just done over and over and over again. But there's like a long kind of like space kind of Star Wars kind of track, which is good too. What did I write down? He's feeling sorry for himself. These are songs I like. You Can Leave, but it's going to cost you. Anna's song, When Did You Stop Loving Me? A Funky Space Reincarnation. That's the one I was telling you about. So if you've never heard it, the one I have is it's out of print though. It's not expensive. It's the Hippo Select one, which is 2 discs. And that's the way I like to enjoy that record. I don't know why it wasn't with my other Marvin Gaye CDs, but some would say that's the last great album that he made. I like Midnight Love just fine. So I'm not going to say it's the last great one, but it's the last one he made in the 70s, and that 70s were his great time. In 1981, there's the In Our Lifetime. This is another Hippo Select one, and this one I did find. Also 2 discs. This one, unfortunately, is expensive if you look for it online. I don't know why this is more than Here My Dear. Maybe it was made in smaller quantities. I don't know. It says limited edition on it. But, okay, so this is another one that a lot of people consider to be underrated. So by this point, you know, his relationship with Jazz Hunter has fizzled. And he, at a certain time, he considered making another kind of, you know, bitter, acrimonious breakup album, much like he had already done with Hear My Dear. But wisely, he decided, you know, I don't think my fans want to hear this. But there's a bit of that here. He was at a low point in his life, too much cocaine. He was suicidal. He didn't like what Motown did with this record. They released it without his permission. He wasn't done with it. Maybe it's, I don't know if it's the whole album or just a track, but this was the last album he ever made with Motown. What do my notes say? Well, these are songs I like. How Can I Forget? Gonna Give Her All the Love I've Got. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Way Love Is. I'm reading the wrong notes here. Well, I basically just wrote down Praise and Ego Tripping. He was freebasing. It's another one of those ones that he's completely produced, arranged, and wrote the same way he did with Trouble Man. I think those are only 2 albums he ever did that with. But it is underrated, not as underrated as I think as I Want You. But I can't recommend you guys get this CD because it's, I don't know, last time I checked it was like over $100. But if you can get yourself a cheaper copy, get it. You know, it's a strong album. Not as strong as Here My Dear, not as strong as Midnight Love, but much like Trouble Man, because it's surrounded by 2 better albums. It's totally done by him. Written, arranged, you know, produced. And then we have the last album I'm going to be talking about, Midnight Love. There's my double disc of Midnight Love. He was deliberately going in a more commercial vein here. He wasn't so introspective. He had been at another low point after the last album. He's with Columbia now, right? I can't remember. Yeah, Columbia. You know, he said he was never going to work with Motown again. So this was 2 years before his dad shot him. The last album that was made during its, there was some good posthumous stuff released though, but I wanted to follow the Stevie Wonder suit and just do 70 to 82 though, and this is his last record. Of course, the title track, not the title track, it's called Midnight Love. Sexually Healing was a monster, but the whole album's pretty good. And what I got here? Midnight Lady is really good. Turn on Fame. Is that song on here? Turn on some music. Oh well. Anyways, those are the tracks that stood out when I threw it on, and it's all solid. And I think had he lived, he probably would have continued in this vein. But we'll never know, you know. But he was not allowed to, you know, live and then go into a decline. He left with one of his stronger albums, which is always a good thing, you know. It's like Jim Morrison or Jimi Hendrix, if you consider Band of Gypsies to be one of his stronger albums, and I do. So Marvin Gaye, he is probably, yeah, I'm going to say it, my favorite soul singer. The way that his voice kind of glides over the funky, you know, underpinnings of the music, it's kind of like what Al Green would do later on, you know, in the 70s. But Marvin had a lot of classic 45s, just like Stevie Wonder in the 60s that I could be talking about. That might be another show. But so far, you know, with my programs here, I just want to deal with album artists, you know. So that's why I'm just focusing on what I consider to be his LP era, which is the 70s and the early 80s. And yeah, I mean, I miss him a lot. And his reputation, I think his legacy, if you will, has only grown since his death. I mean, I always loved him in the 70s growing up. But when he died, I really started to go back and play those albums more. And then when they came out on CD and these double disc sets, I was very happy. I don't own any in fact, I don't own any Marvin Gaye box sets. So I just listen to the, the CDs of his albums. So hope you enjoy my African American shows. I got Aretha Franklin coming up soon. Otis Redding I'm going to do. I don't think he's American, but I'm going to do Bob Marley soon too. Because before I hit 100 videos, I want to get some of these major black artists done with so that I don't put them off. So Matt signing off. I'll try and do one more before next week.